Hey guys, Ariel over here at Nyth. Today I want to do a quick look at something I get a lot of questions about, and that is my van. I drive an old Astro van, and it is absolutely amazing for all the kinds of things I do. There's probably individual vehicles that would be better for individual things I do, but I can't really think of one that would be more efficient at everything I do. If I had a little tiny car, that would be more fuel efficient for summer times when I'm just on a drive to somewhere. There's times when if I had a pickup truck, that would be more handy. There's times when if I had a full RV, that would be handy. But this little guy does really everything I need, and I really like it. So I want to take you around for a little tour about what I keep in my van, how it works, why it works so well for me, maybe just give you guys some thoughts for your own vehicle setups. Everyone's got different climates, different needs and habits and things accessible to them in the places they normally drive and so on. So I'm just going to explain what I do and why. First, as you can probably see, there's no seats in the back of my van. There is actually a bed frame and Grizzly's house. When we're traveling, she rides in a crate just to be safe, kind of in my mind. I know people have different opinions about crates and such, but I think it's a lot like having a little child in a car seat. It's just good for their safety. Other than that, got some extra dog stuff here. I keep an extra leash and some treats and so on. But the whole back is actually open. And got a sliding door there. You can see the van's a little dirty. Usually is. When you live on dirt lanes, there's not a whole lot of point in washing the outside. So that's what I do with the back. It is set up so that this is that's the dog crate. This is a bed. There's actually 2 mattresses on here. So if I travel with a friend, which I do every now and then, I can pull one of those out and lay it down here. It fits on the floor space here. And so you can actually sleep 2 people on 2 separate levels if you're traveling together. Now I've got, bedding and a pillow and everything on there. And then underneath, if I pull up the skirting, I've got all kinds of storage, which I'm going to show you more detail in just a minute. But when I put that down, it all looks neat and tidy and good to go. Now if I hop inside here, it was snowing a little less hard when I planned to do this video. You can see better the bed, and if I pull up my skirting here, it's just on a simple plywood frame on 2x4 stands. There's one in the middle and one at each end. And I want to take a look at some of the stuff I actually carry normally. This is my version of AAA because I live in an area where there is not, very often, there's not cell phone service in a lot of places, and AAA isn't going to come get you if you can't call them. This is a really wonderful thing to have. What this is a little battery pack. I could use it for just other things, like I've got tape over that so it doesn't get dirt in, but I could plug USB type things in there to charge like a cell phone. It's got a couple AC outlets. I could plug things in there, charge them, but mainly what I have it for is it's got jumper cables wrapped around the sides here, and there's different brands and different models. This just, when I was looking a few years ago, seemed to be about the best one for the price at the time, and I've been happy with it. It's got a little emergency light, which does change angles there slightly, but isn't particularly useful. In my experience, I've got other lights. And you can turn this on and off for the jumper cables. There is a, you can hear that, there's an air compressor. Not that if I've got 4 flat tires, this is going to get me somewhere, but if I've got a little bit of a flat, hopefully I could have enough air to get somewhere, or use a spare or whatever, and get back to cell phone service or assistance. But the main thing that this is awesome for is if you are somewhere and your battery goes dead, you leave your headlights on or something stupid, which I've done before, or you run into somebody else with a dead battery. This is really amazing. It's got a good bit of power. It's had no problem jumping my van. I've jumped pickups with it. I've jumped, I think the longest thing I jumped was somebody's 30-foot RV, maybe 34-foot RV, when it had been dead for most of a winter. No problem at all. When you need to recharge, there's just a little charger cord in here. You can plug it into a regular wall outlet, fill it up. You can check the battery level right here, see how full it is. So this isn't a sales pitch for this company because I'm not affiliated with Duracell, But having something like this, and there are other good models out there, is a really good thing to have, in my opinion, if you travel a lot, or especially if you're in a rural area where you may be stuck with having to help yourself because there's no good way to get assistance. So I always have that in here. Behind it, you can see I keep a lot of camping stuff in my van, both because it doubles as backup things for my van and it gives me a place to keep my camping stuff. So I've got some extra backpacks there. This is kind of my kitchen drawer set. Yes, it's a metal tool chest. So I've got extra plates and silverware and lighters and toothpaste and ropes and grills brushes and all kinds of stuff in there. Now the reason I got a metal tool chest for this is because when I'm actually cooking, I can set this outside on the ground and put my grill right on it, and I've got no worries about the heat damaging anything or making anything flammable. So that also doubles as my little kitchen area because I put my grill right on top of it when I'm car camping. That's what's under here. I'm trying to do this and not track too much snow in here. This side I've got a little set of these just cheap drawers. I keep some more camping odds and ends, extra clothing, maps for like hiking maps, all that kind of thing goes in there. That works really well. If I'm carrying a big water jug, like a 5-gallon water jug, it actually slips right in this little spot that you probably can't see between the back of the driver's seat and the bed frame. And so nothing tips over, which is nice, but the rest of the time I just keep my extra grocery bags in there, my reusable grocery bags. Let's take a look at the back end of this. Different Astro vans have different back door setups. Some have 2 doors that open out, some just have 1 up and 1 down. This one actually has 3 ways, so this part goes up and these sides open independently. I very rarely open this one because of the bed being right there. But this is kind of my little truck end. This is where I carry water bottles when I'm going to refill my water. It's where I carry gas cans, propane bottles, whatever I'm going to fill. The stuff that would be handier if I had a pickup, but it works in here. On the floor, there's regular carpet, in the van under there. But then I put some of this foam, it's like kid playmat stuff. I think I got it at Kmart. It's got the little interlocking thing, so it's just a foam layer on there. Helps protect my carpet and gives the floor just a bit of insulation. And then I have another just cheap carpet piece on top of that, so if I do something to my floor, I can easily just change that out. I want to, of course, if I'm going to have somebody sleeping here, Grizzly's crate would have to move. Again, I've got my bed frame, and if I open this, you can see I built this to precisely fit these tubs. These are just big, heavy-duty tubs that I can keep lots of things in. I've got 4 of them under here. They all stack. I keep a lot of extra camping gear in here. So that means anytime I'm out somewhere, I've always got extra layers that I'm carrying automatically, sleeping bags, a couple tents, all that kind of thing. And one of these, the bottom one there, is actually this is probably my dad's training coming through. This is simply car or vehicle stuff. So that means I've got extra transmission fluid, an extra thing of oil, several tools, extra belt, transmission fluid leak fix, big tow strap. I actually have some, got my van first aid kit, funnels, little toolkit, washer fluid, this little shovel, which has a handle in there somewhere, I always keep in here year round, just for whatever. In addition to my jumper box up front, I've got these heavy-duty 20-foot jumper cables, if I need them, an extra felt blanket, got some extra headlight bulbs under there, bungee straps, an umbrella, a flare, big flashlight, some carabiners, fix-a-flat, and some extra batteries. So that's just kind of all the stuff that, I'm no vehicle expert by any means, and I'm sure some of you could tell me things that I could be doing differently or better or more efficiently or all that kind of thing. Mechanical stuff is not my strong point, but that pretty much covers me having the tools to fix anything I would be able to do anything about anyway with my skills. So I just always keep that stuff in my van. It lives there permanently. Very rarely have I ever needed any of it, but that is the kind of stuff I'd rather have and not need than need and not have. So awkward doing that sideways for the camera. I usually am inside to push things in and out. So anyway, that is my storage setup. There you can see the back of the bed. My actual mattresses I have in here are, these are called Paco's pads. They're made out of the same stuff that like float trip rafts are made out of. They were made by a raft guy originally. So they're super sturdy. You could lay on them on the gravel, that kind of thing. They're not a lightweight camping mattress. And you can see there's two there. So if it's just me, I just sleep on both. My bed's twice as thick. Or if I'm traveling with a friend, like I said, one goes down there. But they're very nice for car camping because I do have ultralight backpacking mattresses, but they are pretty fragile. And so for this kind of thing, it's just nice to have something that's more durable. Oh, and the other thing I want to show you, try not to track the snow in here, is I've got blackout blinds on all of the back windows. This may be the easiest place to show you actually. Or not. I'm not sure where the camera's going to best see it. From the outside, it just looks like, take a look at that, just looks like a black window. The windows are just a little bit tinted like a lot of rear vehicle windows. But inside of that, there is actually something I got from a company called Easy Blackout that looks like that, if you can see it. It's totally black on one side, completely white on the inside, and there's just Velcro strips around the edges. And you can order them to fit whatever size and shapes of windows you've got. So, and they're really thick. You can put a flashlight like right up against it from either side. You can't see it on the other side. And so it works out really well for me because most of the time, especially if I'm going to camp in the back, it gives me a lot of privacy. But if I want to see out the windows, I can just pull the whole Velcro strip up or off, you know, and have my whole blackout blind panel laying there and, you know, see out the window and then Velcro it back up. Before, I've seen other people that had curtains hanging, but because of the shape of the vehicle side where it kind of goes like this, when you hang a curtain, it comes straight down. So they'd hang in here, you'd get a lot of light around it. Like if you're in a parked in an area where there is a good bit of light, that's kind of inconvenient when you're trying to sleep. Plus it doesn't give you as much privacy. Plus the curtain's hanging this many inches inside, which just kind of makes your inside space feel cramped. So since these stick right up against the windows, that's perfect for me. I've been really happy with them. I've had them in here now for almost 4 years, and I haven't seen any kind of deterioration or anything with them. And it definitely also, if you're somewhere hot, not that that's much of an issue today, keeps the back a little cooler by blocking the sunlight. So that is the back end of my awesome little van. Get it to latch. And let's go look at the front. Okay, front passenger side. As I said, I always keep that little tiny orange shovel in here year-round, no matter what, in case I should need it. But it's winter now, and so I have a full snow, you know, scoop shovel. This is my extra shovel, and it lives in here until it's not snowing anymore. Then I keep an extra little container so I can easily give grizzly water for somewhere, and I need to. I typically have a backpack if I need to go somewhere. This also happens to have my ski backcountry gear, so it has a little snow shovel and an avalanche beacon and all that kind of stuff in it. Extra warm clothes. That just stays right there. And I'm gonna grab the camera and show you some other things. Okay, here in the front, oh I forgot, this little thingy is actually an air freshener that's just got a felt pad in there, clips right in like a normal you know, commercial chemical air freshener, and it's got a little felt pad so I can just put a drop of essential oil in there and, you know, reuse it for, I don't know, forever kind of, and it makes the van smell good, so I like that. But anyway, in between my seats here, this is where I keep lots of stuff, as you'll be able to see. That whole bag there has extra winter clothes, extra gloves, hats. There is a full extra change of clothing, like, you know, sweater, jeans, that kind of thing in there in case I should need it. And so yeah, I'm definitely good on extra clothes. I generally, even if I'm not carrying a full 5-gallon water jug, have at least 4 of these Nalgene bottles stuck in here that are full. Got a bag for camera stuff, so it's right at hand should I happen to need it, because I see something cool like an owl. In between there, I've just got usually some snack stuff, nuts, jerky, dried fruits, some hand lotion, box of tissues, lots of books from the library on CD to listen to, and, you know, that's the front of the van. So that is kind of my setup. Oh, and I didn't mention, or I didn't show it specifically, but back under there, where I have my kitchen stuff, I do have a little stove, and I've got some extra fuel cans in one of those drawers. This would be like my backpacking stove, but I've got little pots, pans, and a stove and fuel. So at any point I could cook food, or at the very least melt snow for water if I would ever be stranded somewhere. Not that I've had that happen, but just in case, you never know. And then I do have these blinds in the front. Just kind of a little setup there. These are blackout blinds here on this side, and just to make it a little thicker and more private, I actually have a white layer behind that, so this is a double layered thing, and I can just pull those closed and from both sides and close off the entire back of the van if I am camping in here, which is not something I do all the time, but there are definitely times when I do, because I'm on a photography trip, or I'm being a cheapskate, or something like that. Now with Gruzie's little setup here, got an old pillow cover from the local thrift store. She's got a bed in there, and an extra towel right at the front doorstep, so she can either lay her head on it like a pillow, or I can use it to dry her off if we happen to be somewhere that's wet or snowy and she's all damp. So anyway, that is my little van setup. I like my van a lot. It's about 20 years old, has almost 200 and I think a little over 240,000 miles on it now, and it does an absolutely amazing job of getting me where I need to go and doing what I need it to do. So maybe that gives you a look at my thought process on what I take with me and keep with me and have in case of emergencies or should things arise. Most of the things in there I've used at least one time. A lot of them I haven't needed often, but like I said, I'd rather have some of those things and not need them than not have them and need them. And some I've used, like I've jumped other friends or strangers' batteries, pulled a guy's car out of a snowbank with that tow strap. My van's not that big, but it is on a small truck frame, so I can tow some things. And yeah, that's about all I can think of. Oh, it also does, Astro vans are all-wheel drive, or at least mine is. Maybe there are some that aren't, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not super mechanically proficient, but mine is, and it does an absolutely amazing job in snow. It'll push snow that's higher than the bumper. Here's a little bit of an example of what my van can do when the snow's deep. Oh, Grizzly would like to be in the picture. Good girl. You can see where it was parked overnight. We got 10, 11, maybe 12 inches of snow, something like that. And you can see the tracks where I drove out. My van's currently at the bottom of the hill to be out of the way of my plow guy. But you can also see the kind of scrapes in the top of the snow there. So it was pushing snow higher than the base of the van itself, which I have no problem at all driving through and do very regularly all winter long. It develops a bit of a squeak because you get some of the belts in there wet. And yes, snow will pack in the wheel wells like that when it's light fluffy snow. I actually just kicked off most of the chunks, but it will pack up actually till it almost touches the tires at times when you're driving through deep snow, but it's not too big of a deal to just kick the chunk off and keep going. but it'll go through snow higher than that. I just keep a good set of all-season tires on there. I don't even use studded or snow tires, and I've never had a problem with getting anywhere. Even when we get a foot or more of fresh snow overnight, it's always been able to go through anything I needed to get through, and I've never been stuck. I've never had traction issues. It'll get around even better than some of my friends' pickup trucks in the snow because of its little shorter wheelbase. I can turn a little quicker. And anyway, it's old and it's nothing fancy, and it's got lots of quirks and makes some funny little squeaks, and has a half-broken door handle on the back and a half-broken in a different way door handle on the front. And I think those things are just little quirks that develop with older vehicles over time. And I really like my van. And if something fell on this and squished it flat tomorrow, I would probably be looking for another old Astro van since they're not made anymore. So now, at the risk of raising the price of old used Astro vans by telling y'all how cool they are, that is why this setup works so well for me. And before I had a van, when I first got a car when I was 17 and bought an old junker for $600, and my dad helped me fix the frame because it had been wrecked, and I drove it for another 100,000 miles, and it was still running when I sold it. I still kept most of that same stuff in there. I didn't have quite the volume of camping gear. I didn't have the bed and that kind of thing in a car, but that bin of like van stuff or vehicle stuff, that kind of thing I have always had in my vehicle, in the trunk, something like that. And if you live somewhere where being too hot is a bigger problem than being too cold, you're probably going to have a slightly different set of things that are important for you to carry. But if you're somewhere cold and very snowy and out of cell phone reach, because as I said, AAA is not going to come if you can't get a hold of them, that's the reasoning I have behind why I do what I do. So maybe that gives you some ideas and some things to think about or have in mind for should you ever be stranded anywhere for any reason. Whoever knows what can happen. Emergencies come up when you're not planning for them. So that's a look at what I do. I do vacuum the inside every now and then. As I said, I mean, I'll hose off the outside, but when you live on dirt roads, it's kind of a waste of time. And I do go around and like door latches and stuff because especially in the summer with dirt roads, you get a lot of dust. I do, on any little moving parts like that, occasionally put some WD-40 just to keep them moving smoothly. But other than that, and regular oil changes and filling it with gas, that's pretty much all I do for my vehicle. And occasionally I ask my brother, who's much more mechanically inclined than me, what to do. I do a fuel filter change and some of those things every now and then. But like I said, mechanics are not my thing. I just know that whoever designed this seemed to do a good job. They really run well. They don't require a lot of thought or knowledge from people like me to drive them and use them and appreciate them. So that's my little van. Thanks for watching, folks. If you're interested in more info on my off-grid tiny house life, check out some of my other videos here. And if you like what you're seeing, click the little picture of my house to subscribe and then hit the little bell so YouTube actually notifies you every time there's a new video available. See y'all next time.